militant faction, the PKK, has announced a withdrawal of all its forces from Turkey, moving the fighters to North Iraq. This comes as a peace plan begins implementation to normalize the affected regions in Turkey as the Kurdish militants step up their demands for a separate government. One of the key demands made by the PKK is the release of their jailed leader, Abdullah Ocalan, a founding member of the PKK who has been in Turkish prison for over 25 years now. Listen in to the announcement of the withdrawal made by PKK leadership.
Am hemezin khoyen li nav sinorin Türkiye li cehen ku riska pevçune çedike u rey li ber provokasyonên muhtemel vedike ji bo pêkanîna vekişandina li qadên parastina medyayê li ser erekirvan rêber Abdullah Öcalan jî em pêk tînin.
Meanwhile, Kurdish fighters have said that securing the release of the jailed founder of PKK is crucial for the success of the emerging peace process with Turkey. Let's take a listen.
Tamamen önderliğin özgürlüğü çok önemli. Çünkü yani tecrit altında ve mesela bir hapishane koşullarında böyle bir sürecin, böyle çok önemli bir sürecin yürütülmesi çok zordur. Ki bunu da yapıyor önderlik. Fakat yani önderliğin özgürlüğü bu sürecin daha güçlü yürümesi için çok önemlidir.
Okay, we're now joined by Colonel Sanjit Saroli. He's an international relations and defence expert, and he joins us live from New Delhi. Thank you very much for joining us, Colonel Saroli, here on NewsX World. Let's start off. One of the key demands made by PKK is the release of the leader, Abdullah Ocalan, who's been in prison for over 25 years. What would be the significance of this?
Thomas must understand that this was the major demand of the PKK, that is the Kurdistan Workers' Party. And they have been demanding this for long years. But the Turkey government was not interested in releasing him. But in March, when Abdullah Ocalan declared that we will have ceasefire with Turkey, that is when the process started off. And in May, it was also decided that the PKK will be disarmed and disbanded once they have been promised by the Turkey government that they will be converted into a democratic process. So I think in July, this outlaw group, which is designated as a terrorist organization, started talking about, and they burned their weapons as a symbolic gesture to tell to the Turkey government that they are interested in disarmament and they will leave Turkey provided the PKK is accepted as a democratic party and the PKK is allowed to fight elections in Turkey and Abdullah Ocalan is released from the jail. So now the ball is in the Turkey government court whether they accept it or not, because as far as this PKK is concerned, they have decided to disarm themselves and they have decided to move from Turkey to Iran. Now the ball is in Turkey government. What they want to decide, if they accept this demand and they release Abdullah Ocalan, then I think the peace will prevail and it will be better for the complete area, that including the Syria, Iraq and Iran, because PKK has got their offshoots in all these three countries. Thomas.
Colonel Saroli, is there any other leverage that the PKK have over Turkey?
The only leverage they have is because when they established themselves, they started off with the Marxist-Leninist guerrilla warfare, and initially it was not accepted by even the Kurdish people. But later on, when the Kurdish people realized that they were being marginalized by the Turkey government, that is the time they also accepted their guerrilla warfare. So I don't think there is any leverage. The leverage is only that if Turkey releases Dr. Abdullah Ocalan, then only the peace will prevail, otherwise the peace will not prevail. And even the United States have been supporting PKK against the ISIS a few years back. So I think it is very, very important that firstly, they were told to disarm themselves. They have disarmed themselves. Then they were told to leave Turkey. They have left Turkey. Now the only thing is left is that now the Turkey government has to accept it and they have to release Dr. Abdullah. And after that, I think the peace will prevail. Otherwise, this insurgency is again going to start off.
Colonel
Mr. Thomas.
Colonel Sarohi, thank you very much for bringing your insight here to NewsX World. It's a pleasure to have you on the programme. We now move on over more Turkish matters, and a court has issued a new arrest for Istanbul's jailed mayor, Ekrem İmamoğlu, accusing him of political espionage. State media says İmamoğlu, a leading rival of President Tayyip Erdogan, is already in prison on separate corruption charges and a jail sentence for allegedly insulting a top prosecutor. The opposition leader has rejected all accusations, calling them lies, slander and conspiracy. Authorities have also arrested 2 others, including Meran Yanardag, editor-in-chief of the opposition TV channel Tele 1, which was seized by the state last week. Turkey's main opposition party, the CHP, says the charges are politically motivated, part of a wider effort to silence critics and weaken the opposition ahead of future elections. Now we move on to another